Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts with a state of the market video. Today is June 25th, 2022. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security, and I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. And also, if you like these videos, don't forget, please subscribe right now to the channel. Thank you very much for doing that. Really appreciate everyone that has subscribed. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and do that right now. One more quick note before we get started. Just a reminder, if you go to traderlion.com, their annual stock trading conference is coming up. It's going to be a 4-day event. There's amazing speakers coming up on this, and you can see right here, just absolutely amazing speakers, all different types, different backgrounds, again, on psychology of trading, on types of trading, on performance. I'll be presenting. My topics are going to be, I'm going to define the state of the market. A lot of people have asked me to say what each thing actually means, why I look at it. And so the first half of my presentation will be that. And then the second half of the presentation will be on screening. And so I present 4 screens in their entirety. So if you're interested, definitely check out. If not for me, for again, all these other people, Ray's going to be doing a presentation, friend Joe Fahmy, Christian, Ben, Pat Walker. I mean, just, Tom Canfield, Matt Caruso, Leif Sorid, Tom Basso, Anne Marie. I mean, just absolutely, Brian Shannon, just Roy, unbelievable. Again, Mark Ritchie, David Ryan, James Ropel, unbelievable speakers. So again, traderlion.com, annual trading conference. It's free, right? So there's no reason not to, right? But let's go ahead and start state of the market today. All right, so here we go. So S&P 500 had this big uptrend, nice topping pattern, came down to this area and it held. That's definitely a positive. I know I did a hold, but if we go to a weekly, it popped up 6.45% last week, right? That's even off the bottom. It was even more than that. From bottom to where it ended, 7.5%, which is a very significant pop. So what happens now? Well, I mean, I think that there's obviously two chances, right? This most likely is going to roll over. It could continue higher, maybe hits the 50-day. It's possible. Maybe just fills this gap. It's possible, but chances are it's going to roll over and back and fill a little bit. Now, does it make a higher low and then move higher, or does it come all the way back and retest this and then hold? It's a possibility. Or does it fall through, right? Those are its possibilities. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I do know it's extended. So for that reason, starting new longs here doesn't make a lot of sense. And we have not had a follow through day yet either on this. There's rebalancing on Friday. So this volume here is augmented from that. So I don't consider this a true follow through day. I don't think IBD did either. So right now I think it's you're in no man's land here, right? Now, again, if it does roll over, it may be a shorting opportunity, right? We've seen lower highs. It could just be another lower high, and then you get a decline like this or a decline like this, right? So S&P 500, nice move for this week, but, it could just be within a downtrend. Looking at the RSP, again, it also had a very nice move on the weekly. It was up 5.28, so not as much as the S&P. So that tells you a little something too. It could be just, the mega caps, kind of carrying it a little bit. Obviously, it's still a nice move, but yeah. So we'll see if this materializes into something more. Again, if you go back to SPX was already touching the 23-day EMA here. Going to RSP, we're seeing that it hasn't even hit the 23-day. Again, just shows you how weak everything is still. So in the end, this has to be a counter trend rally, right? I mean, that's pretty significant decline. And again, not enough volume coming in here, so this says counter trend rally. We'll see. Qs. Same thing for the Qs. Now, Qs have actually exceeded the 23-day, which is kind of interesting. Still has a declining 50, but it's coming into this very significant area. This 300 to 300 to 305 area. That's going to be significant. 297, 298, whatever. This area. So price is just below that. So what happens here? Is this a counter trend rally? As of right now, that's what we have to go by, right? Counter trend rally into supply and expectations. This could roll back over. Now, we don't know what's going to happen. Again, on the week, it was up nicely on the week, 7.25%. It's a solid week, right? Solid week. But again, know the market we're in. We have a declining 200, a declining 50, and these are just starting to, the lower, the 9 and 23, just starting to flatten and curve back up. This would be, just like it kind of did here, right? And, it kind of did it here too. This was a little bit healthier, I think. Very easily, this could have went higher here and created some kind of base, but it didn't. It rolled back over. And I think that's what, we're likely to do here. Again, I say likely because if you look at the QQQE, once again, the Qs are up in this area. The E equal weight, it's not even close to it, right? I mean, still has a decent move higher. And there's your 50-day right there, 67.56. So good chance that, again, this gets to this $68-ish area, 67.50-ish. And then we see a rollover. And then at that point, we don't know how far it goes. Higher low, that's the positive. Lower low, that's the negative. So we'll see. I think it's still suspect at this point until we can make a higher high. If we can beat this, we'll call it $70 on the QQQE, that would say, oh, there's a change in character. Right now, we don't have that. So we're watching it. Again, I don't think this is a place for FOMO, even if there's a big gap up on Monday, because I think Monday you could get that gap up right into the 50-day, get all people all wanting jumping in at the open, and then you could get that potential failure of a move. Again, it's just a possibility, right? IWM, I was saying it could go into here and then roll back over. It didn't. It made a higher. This move right here was good. So I'm gonna just take these out because obviously it's not legit anymore. The area that I think had to hold did, right? Again, if you go even further out on IWM, just do a weekly, make our lives easier. See 2018 highs, 2020 highs. It retested it. It held a nice little 6% bounce. So then what happens here? Tough to say. If this low holds, then we can start to base out here and potentially make a right side of a base. And so it's very dependent on the moves next week and maybe even the first week of July. It's summer months, maybe slower trading, lower volume. So moves could potentially be more exaggerated as well. But as of right now, again, declining 200-day, declining 50-day, declining 23-day. Even if it is starting to flatten out a little bit, price is still below it. So you got to say the market's still suspect at this point. But far enough moved off the low, we're getting long now. It would be hard to do. And maybe not to the point to short yet. Maybe if it gets up to the 50-day, we'll see. Looking at the IWO, again, on the weekly, it was up 8.34. So obviously growth had a very good week, but again, has not gotten above into this range. Again, this was a big deal, just like an IWM. It got a little more sold and hasn't recovered quite yet. And there's your 50-day right there, 219. So above, listen, if this gets above the 50-day and can make a higher high relative to this, I mean, that's the bull case scenario. Then we can manage risk over here at this 228, 229 area. But as of right now, it hasn't done it yet. So let's watch next week. Again, it is extended, right? So we have to be careful starting new longs until we can get a pullback and maybe a higher low, or if this potentially rolls over, potentially short. Okay, let's keep going. Mid caps, just to see what's going on there. MDY, again, on the weekly, 5%. So, again, has not quite come down all the way to this 383, 380, 384-ish area. And it may not have to, but that'd be a nice little spot if it did roll over for very potential area for bottoming action to happen. So I am watching that particular area. This has that bear flag look to it, but again, if it moves higher from here, it would kind of negate that. But I don't know. I think there's got to be at least another test at the bottom, if not lower. We'll see. We'll see. All right, XLF. XLF. We talked about XLF needing to hold the 2000. I gotta go weekly here. 2007 highs, 2018 highs, 2019 highs, and so far this has held. There's a 200-week moving average right there, $30.37. So held where it's supposed to hold, but it's still underneath all this pressure. So XLF did a good job. Most of it will happen on Friday, but it's still kind of suspect, right? SMH. So SMH failed, and now it's just retesting from the bottom. It doesn't look as good as some of the other charts. And that's probably the biggest bearish sign I've seen so far, is SMH is not leading out of here. I think that's a problem, right? I think that's a real problem. Again, can it move higher, a little bit higher? Sure, it could. But I think SMH has to lead. And it not leading doesn't make me feel good. So just be wary of this, right? You're looking for, semiconductors as an indicator. Well, this is an indicator, I think. Look at XHB, which I've replaced wood with XHB now. Again, a nice week. On the week, it was up 7.63% in housing, but the downtrend is strong. It's turning over. Again, until we see a higher high here, my guess would be, we got problems. Now, maybe this was exhaustion to the bottom, right? That's a possibility, but I'm not really seeing a ton of exhaustion volume. You see exhaustion volume in here, in here, but I'm not seeing this exhaustion volume on the downside. Maybe it needs to come back and retest, $49, $50, somewhere around there. And as you can see, this was the 2006 highs in housing. Just clean this up a little bit. 2006 highs in housing, retested in 2018, retested again in 2020, and now are we going to end up retesting 47 to 50 area again? I mean, on the weekly, it looks like a bear flag, right? Even if it kind of trends up a little bit here, it doesn't have to be, but definitely could be. Anyway, so that's housing. XHB, questionable at best. Here's the VIX. And we're going to change out these moving averages. There we go. And the VIX is starting to come back in. It's at 27.26. So that's a positive. Hasn't come all the way in yet. Would love to see a lower low, below 24. That's really good. More of a trending market. That's what that would tell me. So watching that, that's a nice little move in the VIX, right? We have never gotten that spike. Maybe it's coming, maybe it's not. But right now we have higher lows, We'll see if it makes a lower low here. That'd be interesting. But so VIX coming in, that's a positive. Looking at bonds, credit spreads, and let's get rid of volume because we really don't care about that right now. So here's your credit spreads, and we have this kind of moving up, kind of toppy look right there, and it's going to maybe come back down, maybe even a little bit more. So does it make a higher low, and then we get another spike up, or are we going to just roll back over and get to a nice tightening of spreads and trending market? Remains to be seen, but right now it is still elevated, right? I mean, you're seeing higher highs and higher lows, so we're not seeing this pullback yet. So I think credit is still widening, and so there's that, right? But call ratio, we had a good week, as expected. Everyone got bullish again, right? Pretty much, not at an extreme level, but it does show that a big push into calls. So not much of a signal because we're not extreme, but it does show you how there's now room back to the downside if it decides to go that way, and some room to the upside. It'd be crazy. Listen, if we start to get these looks right here, I think that's a very bullish for the markets because people are overwhelmingly going into calls, and you can see in a bull market it happens quite often, but in a bear market you get only a few pushes, and that's usually the capitulatory bottom. So that's your signal up here. Up here, that'd probably be more of a signal of we're back in a bull market. Right now, no real signal. Value line geometric index, as expected, it did improve some, but still lower highs and lower lows. MMFI back up to almost 32%, right? Percent of stocks above the 50-day moving average. Never got that capitulatory move. Didn't really get below 12. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, if we can make a higher high, get above 50%, that would be a bullish scenario. Right now, kind of in between, breath still isn't great. Okay. GLD. Gold. Again, no one's piling into gold right now. Not much of a signal at all. And let's go to Bitcoin. This to me could be a bear flag. And if it is a bear flag, I think this 14,000 area is where it could potentially go, 13 to 14,000. And that could be that final move, right? If it gets to 13, 14,000, this ends up being a bear flag. Maybe this weekend, we'll see. That would bode very negative on the market, especially the Qs. And maybe that's our final last capitulatory run into, and we could actually start to form a bottom then. So I'd be very careful. Watch Bitcoin this weekend. If it breaks down from here, that's definitely the bearish scenario. If it starts to build out and make a right side to some kind of base, or even just chops around in a range, markets have a chance next week to maybe add on to some more gains. We'll see. They're very extended. And so, when I really put everything together today, there's a lot of mixed signals. We have this extended market, and it's a wait and see. This area right here, 240, if it does break down, that would be my next target, right? I don't really do targets, but that's 20% move. If you do a 20% move rather quickly, that's the capitulatory move we may be looking for, and we've been looking for a capitulatory move. We haven't found it, and we've had lower highs and lower lows. No magic there, right? I think we still need a capitulatory move to shake everyone out. It's not required. Market doesn't care what I think, but you know what? A quick move to 240, that may be what we need. We'll see. Final thoughts is right now, I think it's a yellow light. I think there's some good things happening in the market, but we're definitely not on the clear. There's a lot of negatives too. So if you want to try positions, keep them small. Keep your stops close. I wouldn't invest more than 50%. And if things start to stop out, stay in cash. It means we're rolling back into a red light scenario. So be careful. So cautiously small buys in the right stocks, that would make sense. because you don't know if it's going to make that high or low or not. Anyway, good luck next week. Let me know what you think. I'll be doing a stocks to watch video, and I may be doing a long view video this weekend too, to see for leading sectors as part of my analysis. All right. So again, good luck. Take care, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.